Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when a quiet voice within says, enough. Enough of waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect sign. Enough of postponing the dream, the change, the life you were meant to live. The truth is, there is no someday, there is only now. And if you keep waiting for the right time, you'll wake up one day and realize that time was waiting for you. But you never showed up. There is no someday, only now. This truth is one of the most liberating and yet most resisted realizations in life. Many of us live as though time were an endless resource, as though there will always be another day, another season, another chance to begin. We convince ourselves that the right moment is somewhere out there in the distance, waiting for us to arrive. We tell ourselves we'll start the business when we have more money, pursue our dream when we have more courage, or make amends when the other person is ready. Yet life keeps whispering the same quiet truth. Now is all you ever have. Tomorrow is a promise, not a guarantee. The idea of someday is comforting because it allows us to postpone discomfort. It gives us a false sense of control, letting us believe we are making progress simply by planning or thinking about what we want to do. But planning without action is just another form of delay. Each time we say, someday, we give away a piece of our power to an imaginary future that may never come. The only time that truly exists, the only time that has ever existed, is now. The present moment is where all creation happens, where all decisions are made, and where all transformation begins. When you fully embrace this, you start to see how much of your life has been spent waiting. Waiting for permission, waiting for the right circumstances, waiting to feel ready. But readiness is not something that arrives. It's something that is chosen. Life doesn't wait for you to be prepared. It moves, it flows, it unfolds. The more you delay action, the more disconnected you become from your purpose, and the more you drift away from the flow of life itself. Every person who has ever achieved something remarkable understood this principle. They started where they were, with what they had, in the moment available to them. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They created progress out of imperfection. The moment you take even the smallest step toward your intention, you transform the present into power. The energy of life responds to movement, not hesitation. To live as though there is only now is to live consciously, deliberately, and awake. It is to stop postponing joy, forgiveness, creativity, and love. It is to understand that the clock is not counting down your life. It is inviting you to live it. Every second that passes is not just time gone by. It is a sacred reminder that this, right here, is your chance to begin. Time is a divine invitation. Each moment that unfolds before us is not random, not accidental, but sacred. Time is not merely the ticking of a clock or the turning of days. It is the living pulse of the universe, offering us endless opportunities to awaken, to grow, to give, and to become who we truly are. Every second carries within it a quiet message. This is your chance to align with your higher self, to express love instead of fear, to bring light instead of complaint. When you begin to see time as a spiritual offering, rather than a mechanical measurement, you start to live with awareness and reverence for every breath you take. We often move through life distracted, believing that some moments are important, while others are insignificant. But the truth is that every moment holds divine potential. Even the ordinary ones, the ones spent waiting in line, washing dishes, or sitting in silence, contain the seed of transformation if we choose to be present within them. The divine speaks not in thunderous voices or grand events, but in the still, quiet rhythm of daily time. When we waste time in resentment, regret, or avoidance, we are not just losing hours. We are rejecting a sacred invitation to experience life in its fullness. Each day grants us a limited portion of this divine gift, and what we do with it becomes the story of our lives. If we see time as a burden, we rush through it, constantly longing for the next moment, missing the beauty in front of us. But when we see it as an offering, we slow down, we listen, and we live more deeply. A conversation with a loved one becomes a chance to share light. A failure becomes an opportunity for humility and wisdom. Even pain becomes a teacher, guiding us back to what truly matters. Time invites us to participate consciously in creation. It asks us to use our energy to uplift, to build, to heal, to forgive, to serve. It is the canvas upon which the universe paints through us. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every dream pursued in faith is a way of saying yes to this divine rhythm. When we squander time, we refuse that invitation. When we honor it, we dance with it. The divine gift of time is not something to manage. It is something to cherish, to respond to, and to fill with meaning through the choices we make and the love we express in each fleeting, sacred moment. Fear disguises itself as waiting. It often wears the mask of patience, preparation, or practicality, but underneath, it is hesitation dressed in reason. Many people convince themselves they are waiting for the right opportunity, the right conditions, or the right mindset before they begin. They call it being wise, being careful, or being strategic, but deep down, it is fear whispering, "Not yet." Fear has a clever way of sounding logical. It tells you that you need more money, more confidence, more clarity, or more support before you move forward. Yet time keeps passing, and the dream remains untouched, the idea unexplored, the potential unrealized. Fear's disguise is powerful because it protects our comfort zone. It keeps us safe from rejection, failure, and the unknown, but it also keeps us safe from growth, fulfillment, and transformation. Waiting feels easier than acting because action exposes us. When we act, we risk being seen, being judged, or even failing. So fear convinces us that waiting is responsible, that tomorrow will be better, that someday we'll be ready. But that someday rarely arrives, because readiness is not a condition, it's a decision. The moment you decide to move despite fear, you strip fear of its disguise. Every great accomplishment begins not with perfect timing, but with courage. The person who changes their life doesn't do it because they've eliminated fear. They do it because they no longer let fear set the schedule. The truth is, fear doesn't disappear before action. It dissolves through action. Movement disrupts fear's control. The longer you wait, the stronger fear grows, feeding on your doubt and uncertainty. But when you act, even in small ways, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the excuses fear provides. Waiting can feel comfortable, but it is a slow drain on the soul. It gives the illusion of safety, while silently eroding your confidence. Each time you delay what you know you must do, a part of you forgets how capable you truly are. Fear's greatest victory is not stopping you outright. It's convincing you to stay still while calling it wisdom. Life rewards the bold, not because they are fearless, but because they are willing to move with fear beside them. When you take a step forward, you shift from waiting to creating, from doubting to discovering. The moment you recognize that waiting is often just fear in disguise, you reclaim your power to act, to grow, and to live with intention rather than hesitation. Movement creates motivation. Most people believe they must first feel inspired or confident before they begin something meaningful. But the truth is that inspiration often arrives only after action has begun. Waiting for motivation is like standing beside a fire pit, hoping for warmth before you strike the match. Life doesn't reward those who wait for the perfect feeling. It rewards those who move, even when they feel uncertain or afraid. Action generates energy. Each small step you take awakens something inside you. Momentum, Clarity and confidence begin to build, and soon, what once felt impossible starts to feel natural. The mind has a way of overthinking everything before it begins. It will tell you to wait until you're ready, until you have more time, until conditions are ideal. But readiness is an illusion. You prepare as you go. When you move, you invite direction and insight to meet you along the way. The universe responds to movement like an echo. It mirrors your willingness to act by bringing opportunities, ideas, and people into your path. Stagnation, on the other hand, keeps everything still. The longer you wait, the heavier your doubts become, and the more distant your goals start to feel. Movement shifts your focus from what could go wrong to what could grow. It replaces hesitation with discovery. When you take a step forward, even a small one, your energy changes. Your body wakes up, your thoughts become sharper, and your emotions begin to align with your purpose. Suddenly, what you were afraid of seems manageable, and what you were postponing feels possible. You begin to see that motivation is not a spark that starts the journey. It is a flame that grows because of the journey. Action is also a form of trust. It says to life, I am ready to participate. You don't need to know every detail of how things will unfold. You simply need to show up and take the next right step. Each time you act in faith, the next step becomes clearer. Confidence is not built in thought. It is built in motion. The more you move, the more capable you feel, and the more you attract the energy that supports your progress. The great truth is that movement, not waiting, changes everything. You begin by doing something small, writing the first sentence, making the first call, taking the first walk, and suddenly, life starts to move with you. The energy of motion carries you forward, and what once seemed far away begins to draw near, because motivation follows momentum, not the other way around. Time flows through you, not around you. Many people live as though time is an external force, something outside of themselves, ticking away in the distance, controlling the pace of their lives. They speak of chasing time, managing time, or running out of time, as though it were something separate from who they are. But time is not a thing you can hold or lose. It is life itself moving through you. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every thought, is time expressing itself in motion. You are not living in time. You are an expression of time. Understanding this changes everything about how you live, how you choose, and how you value your days. When you see time as flowing through you, you realize that every moment is sacred because it is uniquely yours to experience, to shape, and to fill with meaning. You stop seeing time as an enemy that's slipping away, and start seeing it as a living river carrying you forward. The flow of that river cannot be controlled, but it can be honored. You can choose to move with it in awareness or resist it through distraction, regret, and worry. When you resist, you suffer. When you flow, you thrive. Time is not against you. It is your silent companion, urging you to evolve, to learn, and to awaken to the present moment. This awareness invites you to live more intentionally. When you treat time as life flowing through you, you no longer waste it on things that drain your energy or keep you small. You become mindful of how you invest your attention, because attention is the way you spend your life. Every hour you give to fear, complaint, or comparison is an hour of your own vitality given away. But when you give that same hour to love, creation, or gratitude, you feel alive because you are aligned with the current of your existence. Time's flow also teaches humility. You cannot hold on to the past or slow the future. You can only inhabit the now with presence and purpose. Trying to control time is like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grasp, the more it slips away. But when you relax and let it flow, you experience its beauty. Living with the awareness that time moves through you, turns ordinary life into something extraordinary. Every second becomes an invitation to participate fully in your own becoming, to align your choices with your soul, and to let the rhythm of life carry you exactly where you are meant to go. To live with purpose in the present is to awaken to the reality that this moment is all that truly exists. The past is a memory, and the future is an imagination, but now is the only place where life can be experienced, shaped, and transformed. Many people drift through life, waiting for something outside themselves to give meaning. A promotion, a relationship, a new beginning. Yet meaning is not found in events, but in the awareness we bring to them. Living with purpose in the present means meeting every moment with intention, with openness, and with the understanding that your choices right now are creating the story of your life. When you live fully in the present, you stop moving on autopilot. You begin to see that every interaction, every decision, every breath carries significance. You realize that your purpose is not hidden somewhere far away. It is alive in the way you speak, the way you love, and the way you respond to the world around you. Being present transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. A simple conversation becomes a moment of connection. A quiet morning becomes a meditation. Even challenges become opportunities for growth, because you are no longer lost in worry or regret. You are here, awake, and participating in your own becoming. Living with purpose also means aligning your actions with your values. When you are truly present, you can hear the inner voice that guides you toward authenticity. It tells you what matters most and what no longer serves you. It helps you discern between what is urgent and what is important. Too often, people live in the future, planning, hoping, and chasing, while missing the beauty and lessons of the moment they are in. But purpose is not something you stumble upon later in life. It is something you express through conscious choices right now. Presence gives birth to peace, and peace allows you to act with clarity and love. When you slow down enough to notice the small details, the sound of laughter, the warmth of sunlight, the kindness of a stranger, you remember that life's true richness is found not in achievement, but in awareness. The more present you are, the more life expands. You stop measuring time by how much you do and begin magnifying it by how deeply you live. Each moment becomes a sacred space where your purpose breathes, your spirit shines, and your existence finds its fullest meaning through the simple act of being here now.